Hi everybody, it's me, Jessica lwhor, and you're back with another Jess Talk. Now, before we get into today's video, remember to subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any new Jess Talks, and make sure that you are streaming this podcast on all platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever it can be found, it'll be there. Today's Jess Talk is all about staying relevant in the drag community. Drag business, staying relevant.
Attention the whore. Attention the whore. Attention the whore. Attention. Here I am walking down the street, seeing all the boys trying to take a peek. Shorts pulled up and chest out right. Come on, boys, just take a bite. Look but don't touch, spin it round and round.
Oh my gosh, staying relevant in the drag community is an incredibly wild, crazy feeling because everyone has this subconscious fear that they're replaceable and that they won't be able to stay relevant. But here's some tricks that have helped me stay relevant. One, finding some kind of joy and identity in what you do and sticking to it. That idea of staying in your lane and finding the pieces that make you different than any other entertainer. There's a local legend, she's my auntie Harley Quinn, that said, anyone can put on a wig or makeup, no matter if it's good or bad. Anyone can dress up and put on a costume, good or bad or expensive. Anybody can perform, whether it be good or bad. But it takes a specific person to produce a show, to host a show, and create a whole persona of who you are. And when I heard that was a huge reality check to really figure out what that was. Part of my brand, part of my consistency that keeps me relevant are some of the things about being the brunch bitch, the bingo queen, the business babe, just recently added trivia tramp, these things that people hear in their heads and they're like, oh, I need you for this event because I hear that you are the brunch bitch of Colorado. I believe it. It's not to be true. Or things that you repeat that every time someone comes to your show, they know. I introduce myself, the biggest whore in all of Colorado, Miss Jessica lwhor. The nastiest bitch in the state,
Oh, you nasty.
Things like that, people remember. It gets stuck in their head. And part of staying relevant, I think, is finding niches and finding little identity pieces that people hold on to. Phrases that I say, makeup is too much fun to do the same face twice. Manifest, mindfulness, and motivation. I'm goal-oriented, sex-positive, and body-positive. When people hear those things, they're attracted to it, okay? It's part about creating that brand. The see a need, fill a need queen or something that I call myself. If I see a venue or I see a community of people that need a space, I love to find a space for people to perform, to express themselves, no matter the age group. The Kimmy Gibbler of drag is one thing that I call myself as well, because I will show up in any space, even if you don't think that I belong there, to perform, to MC, and that's why I do nursing homes, bar mitzvahs, birthdays, I'll do anything, pretty much anything that you will let me try to do, and if I can't do it, I'll figure out how to do it. The chameleon of drag, because I want to do every style and every aesthetic. I don't want to be put into a box, and these are things that keep me relevant. Getting past the mindset that if you step away from a show, which was difficult for me, and have somebody maybe fill in to host it or to perform in it, is not going to be a reflection of you not being asked back to do that. And that's another part of my brand. Being respectfully persistent is a part of my brand. Constantly reaching out for opportunities, not allowing people, taking no for an answer, but never letting that be the final no, period. Reaching out to producers, to venues, to hosts, and saying, I would love to be part of this experience, and if I can't be, I will try to support it. And then next month, I'd love to be part of this experience. And they may say no, and no, and no. And I've gotten some opportunities after 6 no's. One of my favorite stories is that Felony Misdemeanor, when she had Cell Block, I asked her to be in her show, and she said no 3 months in a row, and then she finally said yes to me. And she made me a cast member that night. And it's like waiting your turn, not getting frustrated with people, patience, understanding people go through things. I think part of staying relevant in the scene is showing up and supporting venues, doing community service, fundraising for people, tipping entertainers, tagging entertainers, sharing their art. Those are things that not only keep you relevant, but it keeps the community relevant. People think that it's about money, and it's not really about money. I would rather have the person in the front row not tip a single dollar, but is screaming and cheering and is the most excited, maybe recording little clips every now and then, but is so enthralled in the performances rather than somebody silently with $1. To me, I am valued more when somebody's excited about what they see. And that's to each their own, for sure. But it's not about money. It's not all about money. You can share posts. You can tag photographers. You can show up and record someone's performance. You can cheer them on. You can promote their show. Invite a couple of your friends. Choose to go out and stop by for a half a second. There are other ways to stay relevant that way. Before I go to a collaborator, a venue, any kind of show, if I'm traveling, I do my research. Hi, I see that you host a show on the second Tuesday of every month called this, and I've noticed that it is this style of show. I would love the opportunity on this date to be part of this show. These are the types of drags or types of things that I can bring to this performance. I'm happy to send you photos, videos, and I'm happy to negotiate and work with you on compensation, although it's not my priority. And more times than not, when people go out of the way to show that they've not just say, hey, do you host a show somewhere in around the place? Does it do things? Can I be in it? Yeah. Put me in your show now. No, like, it's so easy to do research on things, and sometimes you might not have all the details, but you could do a little bit of background work. But when I want to collaborate with somebody, I pitch what I think the collaboration could be, what I bring to the table for that collaboration, and what I expect of them, and say, hey, what if we did this together? And it's wonderful. You know, and part of staying relevant, too, is not letting your personal feelings get in the way of the ebbs and flows of changes of social politics. There may be somebody that never paid attention to you whatsoever until you got to a certain number of followers or certain notoriety or performed in a certain show, and maybe you've met them a bunch of times. Do not you let that bitterness affect the possibility to meet a new person and make a new friend, whether they're in your quote-unquote league that you consider yourself or level. Don't allow somebody's experience in that moment to deter you from continuing to work with new people. If people have the expectation that they deserve to be booked all the time and that they deserve to be in things and they're entitled to a certain level of relevancy, more times than not, it is so deterring that they don't get those things. That's part of that humbleness. Relevancy, I think, comes with humbleness, which in turn comes with confidence about your value and your artistic abilities. It's a balance. Don't be arrogant. There's this whole different level of what all those things balance together. And when you find that in different conversations, you find more relevancy. People know your name, and don't expect people to know who you are.
I don't know her.
Don't expect people to know who you are when you walk into a club. Pay the cover. Meet new people. If you met this person, meet them again. Man, I met Dita Ritz 8 times before she remembered who I was. And I was like, why could this bitch not remember who I am? Because that's just how it is. That's life. People don't remember everybody. If it takes 20 times, it takes 20 times. Let things naturally progress, but don't let your bitterness or your pettiness or your frustration get in the way of that. Yeah, those are all parts of relevancy and staying relevant in the community, from supporting to your interactions to what work you're willing to put into it to your personal attitude. You could be the most talented person in the entire city, but if you have the arrogance and the entitlement of somebody that does that, you will soon be irrelevant because nobody wants to work with you. Nobody wants to give you opportunities. Nobody wants to have that interaction with you. Be nice, but not forced. Just be nice to the best of your ability. And also understand that you could internally feel like you're the best of the best, the hottest shit, but not everyone's gonna think that. And that's just life. There are gonna be people that still don't even know who Cher is or never heard a Cher song, but that's not the point. You say, oh, this is who I am. I don't expect you to know me. I have no expectation of that. It's like when you go to another city and someone's like, oh, you don't know who I am? In the long run, when it boils down to it, relevancy is exactly what you make of it in any way, shape, or form. It's whatever you put into it, whatever you make of it, and the perception of your relevancy is very different than the perception of people's relevancy of you. And you have to stay focused on what you're doing and assume that it is relevant and keeping you relevant to the space that you want to be part of. All right, everyone, that was today's Jess Talk. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And make sure that if you have any suggestions for Jess Talks, that you are commenting them down below or writing in. Otherwise, that was all your tips and tricks from Miss Jessica lwhor. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Attention the whore. Attention the whore. Attention the whore. Attention.